Okay, this is homework 2.6, page 144, part 1. So you have your f of x and your g of x. The first one there, number 1, is you're asked to add these together. So you look for like terms. So you just have x squared plus 2x minus 5, which is e. Number 2, you're asked to subtract them. So you have this one minus that one. You can think about distributing that negative through. Gives you x squared minus 2x plus 5, which is b. Number 3, you're asked to multiply. So you're going to distribute that through. So you get 2x to the third minus 5x squared, f. Number 4 is that one, f divided by the g, which is choice D. Okay. Number 11. Okay, we have the f of x is x squared plus 3x, and the g of x is 2x minus 1. Okay, so number 11, we are asked to add. So I'm going to find f of 3 and then add it g of 3 to that. Okay, so f of 3, 3 squared is 9, 3 times 3 is 9, 9 plus 9 is 18. G of 3, 2 times 3 is 6, minus 1 is 5. Add those together, you have 23. Number 12. Okay, we're doing f plus g of negative 5, so f of negative 5 plus g of negative 5. Plug it in here, negative 5 squared is 25. 25 minus 15 would be 10. Plug in the negative 5 there, be negative 10 minus 1 more is negative 11. So therefore it's negative 1. Number 13. Okay, we're finding f of 4 and then multiplying that times g of 4. So f of 4, 16 plus 12, 28. And g of 4, 2 times 4 is 8, minus 1 is 7. And if you multiply those two numbers together, you have 196. 14, we're taking f of negative 3 times g of negative 3. F of negative 3 would be negative 3 squared is 9. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. Add those together, give you 0. It'd be negative 6 minus 1 more is negative 7, but when I multiply times 0, you get 0. Number 15, we are dividing f of negative 1 divided by g of negative 1. So negative 1 squared is 1. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3, so 1 plus negative 3 is negative 2. G, 2 times negative 1 is negative 2, minus 1 is negative 3. 2 negatives equal a positive 2/3. 16, we have f of 4 divided by g of 4. Okay, f of 4 we already knew that was 28. And g of 4 we knew that was 27. Divide those, you get 4. Number 17, we're finding f of 2 and subtracting g of 2. Okay, f of 2, 2 squared is 4, and 2 times 3 is 6. 4 plus 6 is 10. G of 2, 2 times 2 is 4, minus 1 is 3. Subtract gives you 7. 18, f of negative 2 minus g of negative 2. So f of negative 2, negative 2 squared is 4, negative 6. 4 minus 6 would be negative 2. G of negative 2 would be negative 4 minus 1 more is negative 5. So negative 2 plus 5 is 3. Number 19, now g of negative 2 minus f of negative 2. Okay, now notice these are almost similar to the same one, except number 18, but we just switched them around. So g of negative 2 is negative 5, and f of negative 2 is negative 2. So that gives you negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3. Number 20, we have f of 1/2 divided by g of 1/2. So f of 1/2 would be 1/2 squared, would be 1/4. Half of 3 would be 1.5. 1.5 plus, what did I say that was? Half, 1/4, be 0.25, gives you 1.75. G of 1/2 though. Half of 2 is 1, 1 minus 1 is 0. Can't divide by 0, so that's undefined. Number 21, we're finding G of 0 divided by F of 0. Okay, G of 0, plug a 0 in there, 0 squared is 0, 3 times 0 is 0, 0 plus 0 is 0. F of 0 would be 0 minus 1 would be negative 1. 0 divided by any number is 0. Okay, number 31, we're finding F of 2 and adding G of 2 to it. So we go to the X of 2, and in our F function, that is 4. And G of 2, so go to 2, go to the G function, that is negative 2. So 4 plus negative 2 is 2. Part B, we're finding F of 1, subtracting G of 1. So go to F of 1, be 1. Whoops, subtraction. And then G of 1. So 1 for the G function is negative 3. So 1 minus negative 3 is 4. F of 0 times G of 0. So of 0, F of 0 looks like it's 0. G of 0 is negative 4. 0 times negative 4 is 0. F of 1 divided by G of 1. F of 1 would be 1. G of 1 was negative 3. So negative 1/3. 32. Okay, so we want to find F of 0 plus G of 0. Okay, at 0, the F of 0 is 0. G of 0 would be the red here. At 0 would be 0, 2, so 2. So you get 2. F of negative 1 plus, subtraction, G of negative 1. So negative 1, F of negative 1 is 1. G of negative 1 would be negative 2. Add them together. I actually got those two switched up. My F function is the blue one. So F of negative 1 would be negative 2 minus your G is the red of negative 1 would be 1. So put those together, you get negative 3. C, F of 1 times G of 1. So F is the blue, so of 1 is at 2. And G of 1, G is the red, is at 1. 2 times 1 is 2. F of 2 divided by G of 2. So at 2, the F function looks like it's 4. The G function at 2 is negative 2. 4 divided by negative 2 is negative 2. 33. F of negative 1 plus G of negative 1. So at negative 1, the F function is at 0. The G function of negative 1 is at 3. 0 plus 3 is 3. Part B, F of negative 2 minus G of negative 2. So the F function at negative 2 would be negative 1. And G of negative 2, so it's 4. Negative 1 minus 4 is negative 5. F of 0 times G of 0. Okay, F of 0 looks like it's at 1. G of 0 is at 2. 1 times 2 is 2. F of 2 divided by G of 2. Okay, at 2, F of 2 is 3. G of 2 is 0. 3 divided by 0 is undefined. 34. F of 1 plus g of 1. Okay, so the f function of 1 looks negative 1, 2, negative 3. G of 1 is 1. Add them together, negative 2. F of 0 minus g of 0. So f of 0 would be negative 2. G of 0 is 0. Negative 2 minus 0 is negative 2. F of negative 1 times g of negative 1. So the f, here's negative 1, the f of that is negative 3. G of negative 1 looks like it's negative 1. Multiplied, give you 3. F of 1 divided by g of 1. F of 1 would be negative 3. G of 1 would be 1. Divide gives you negative 3. Okay, 35. Part A. We're going to find f of 2. We're going to add g of 2 to it, looking at the table. So f of 2, okay, f of 2 is 7. The g of 2 would be negative 2. Add them together, it gives you 5. Part B, you want f of 4 minus g of 4. So of 4, so f of 4 would be 10. And g of 4 would be 5. So we get 5. Part C is asking for f of negative 2 times g of negative 2. So f of negative 2 would be 0. G of negative 2 would be 6. 0 times 6 is 0. And part D is f of 0 divided by g of 0. F of 0 would be 5. G of 0 would be 0. Any number divided by 0 is undefined. 36. Okay, finding the same things again here. So it's f of 2 plus g of 2, and f of 4 minus g of 4, and g of negative 2 times f of negative 2, f of 0 divided by g of 0. Okay, so f of 2. F of 2 is 5. G of 2 is 4, gives you 9. F of 4, f of 4 is 0. G of 4 is 0, 0 minus 0 is 0. F of negative 2, so f of negative 2 is negative 4. G of negative 2 is 2. Multiply to give you negative 8. And f of 0 would be 8. G of 0 is negative 1, negative 8. Okay, so that's up through 36. Okay, 75, we're finding the difference quotient, which is this formula we're going to use right here. So to find f of x plus h, we have to take that x plus h and plug it in here. So it'd be 4 times x plus h plus 3. Okay, so that's that part. We want to subtract from that our f of x, which is just this 4x plus 3. And we're going to divide that whole thing by h. Okay, so that's how you set it up. Now, to work it out, let's distribute through. We have 4x plus 4h plus 3 minus 4x minus 3. We need to distribute everything through, which, when you add your like terms, 4x minus 4x cancels. 3 minus 3 cancels. We have 4h divided by h, which is just 4. So your difference quotient of this is 4. Next question was 77. our f of x function is negative 6x squared minus x plus 4. Okay, so when we plug this in, we're going to have negative 6 and plug in the x plus h, minus plug in the x plus h. Okay, so that's that function. We're subtracting the whole f of x function. And we're going to divide that by h. That's how you set it up. Now we got to multiply through. So this is negative 6x minus 6h minus x minus h plus 4 plus 6x squared. Whoops. Oh, I'm sorry. Messed up there. Got to go back and switch this, fix this. I missed, this is negative 6x squared, so there should be a squared right there. Okay, so we got to square this first. I'm just going to do that on the side here. X plus h times x plus h. Okay, those you need to review this. X plus x is x squared. X plus h is x plus xh. Inside plus xh. Outside plus h squared. So what we have here is negative 6 times this x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. And then we can distribute through negative x minus h plus 4 plus 6x squared plus x minus 4, all divided by h. Okay, and if I distribute this part through, I have negative 6x squared minus 12xh minus 6h squared. Now, the 6x squareds will cancel. Negative x plus x cancels. 4 and negative 4 cancels. Okay. So what I'm left with is negative 12xh minus 6h squared minus h, all divided by h. I can then divide an h out of all of them. I have negative 12x minus 6h minus 1. Okay. And the last one was number 78. Our function is f of x is equal to 1/2 x squared plus 4x. Okay, so using this formula here, we got to plug x plus h in here and here. So we have 1/2 x plus h squared plus 4 times x plus h. Then we want to subtract our f of x function. And divide it all by h. Okay, x plus h squared, we did that up here. And we can distribute this through. And distribute that through. Okay, and I have to distribute this through here. It'd be 1/2 x squared plus 1xh plus 1/2 h squared. Okay, and these are all divided by h. And if I combine like terms, 1/2 x squared, negative 1/2 x squared, negative 4x plus 4x. Okay, and we're left with xh plus 1/2 h squared plus 4h, all divided by h. And lastly, there's an h in all of them we can divide out, so I'm left with x plus 1/2 h plus 4. Okay, there's the homework.